Okay, this is officially the weirdest Kaspar I've ever seen. Granted, I've seen many that are metal entirely, except for a rubber bore. I've seen many metal facings, metal inlays. But this is a low logo Frank L. Chicago. Typically, you see Chicago's with the center logo, and they say Frank Kaspar Co., and you don't know which one did it. This has a serial number 734. The facing is all original. There's oxidation inside the baffle. But here's where it's really interesting. There's a few scratch marks there, but it's definitely original facing. But here's where it gets interesting. That is kind of an S-curve baffle. There are 3 distinct levels. So that bottom level, you see ramps on in. But then there's a second level that drops off. But then there's that final level that finishes off. There you can really see 3 distinct levels. So there's kind of an optical illusion where it looks more higher than it is. But the tip of the baffle here is a normal rollover baffle, but then it gets kind of crazy. And what's really interesting is this has such a different resistance than you're used to. Typically, when we see a baffle, what's interesting is how it opposes the heart of the reed, and how it develops as the heart of the reed develops on the curve of the mouthpiece. And so there's this kind of polarity as the reed goes in, the baffle goes to suit, and how the baffle changes with the reed determines the personality in many ways of a mouthpiece. You'll notice the oxidation, but the just the debris, the gunk, you really doesn't look like the baffle's been altered, and I would bet that this is original Frank Kaspar's work. Also because generally anybody who would alter the baffle would also alter the facing, and this facing is original. So it's interesting because that S-curve can very much be in line with a Midwest sound concept that certainly both Kaspars define, and especially Frank Cicero, not Frank L. What's most interesting is this sort of hollowness of sound. A lot of clarinet players will use a stronger reed to get a deeper sound, but that baffle going in like that, going so deep like that, creates an openness and a dark sensation that makes using a strong reed kind of unnecessary. Depending on how far you have to project. There you can really see how the tip levels off. At least this is my opinion on this. I want to have this refaced, but I don't think I would use my typical facing preferences, simply because I don't think I would use my normal strength of reed on this. Because I need something that allows for more flexibility. Look how deep that goes in. Just absolutely bizarre. And what a really unique and cool piece of history. Frank L. Kaspar. Not Ann Arbor, Chicago.